consumers.
Jim, you know, you sound so negative here. I mean, in terms of the U.S., anything you like within the U.S. market?
Oh, sure. I have plenty of things that you can like in the United States market. I've been buying airline stocks recently. I haven't bought any in the U.S. at the moment, but I've been buying airlines around the world. I've been buying agriculture. I mean, America is the largest producer of agricultural goods in the world. I love agriculture. I love farmers. I wish everybody else did too.
Speaking of farmers, we know you love commodities. What about this commodity boom? I think recently we talked to you, and or I was reading something, and it said that we're in the fourth inning of a baseball game. Still there, in your view?
Probably around the fourth inning. That sounds good enough. Maybe the fourth and a half, maybe the top of the bottom of the fifth, something like that. No, the commodities bull market has a long way to go. There are going to be corrections along the way, Carol. There always are. But no, nobody's discovered any major oil field in over 40 years. I mean, there just aren't any supplies of anything.
Jim, what do you make, though, of the arguments out there about demand destruction, about a weakening global economy, and that's going to start to bring down commodities? I know you talk about some near-term corrections, though. Anything out there, though, that will substantially drag down commodities in your view?
Well, recession, if the world goes into recession, of course it's going to cut down the demand. But remember, Carol, in the 1970s, we had one of the worst decades in a long time for the economy. And oil went up 10 times. We had one of the great bull markets of all time in commodities because supply went down faster than demand. And that's what's happening now, too. Oil can go down. You know, the bull market in oil started in 1999. 3 times since 1999, oil has gone down over 40%. It wasn't the end of the bull market. It just scared the socks off everybody, including me. That can happen again, but it's not the end of the bull market.
So any pullbacks or buying opportunity in your view, whether it's oil, whether it's grains, whether it's base metals?
Yeah, of course, everything. Base metals have already corrected a lot. Wheat's corrected a lot. Sugar's corrected a lot. Get yourself some sugar. Take it home. Take it home from your Bloomberg.
Let's get back to our guest, Jim Rogers, chairman of Rogers Holdings. So, Jim, got a favorite commodity at this point?
No, nothing really pops into my mind. Agriculture is still some of the base metals I'm looking at. Some of the base metal, you know, Dr. Nickel and Dr. Zink saw the recession coming long before Dr. Bernanke did, and they realized that there's problems. They're down 60% or something, so I'm only noticing that they're down. Some of these things are down a good amount.
What are you waiting for to buy in?
I don't know, some kind of signal that they made a bottom, some kind of panic selling, for instance. I'm also watching Taiwan and China on the same basis. If we could have panic selling, you know, in an old-fashioned selling climax in Taiwan or China, I would buy both of them as well.
You know, the CSI 300 is down 45% this year, the second worst performing major benchmark tracked by Bloomberg. Why are we seeing such a pullback?
Well, the market went up a huge amount in the previous 2 years, and the Chinese government acknowledges that there's terrible inflation in China, and they're doing their best to cut it back. They've raised interest rates 7 times in the last year. They've raised reserve requirements 15 times. The United States Central Bank has cut interest rates 7 times. They've thrown gasoline onto a raging inflationary fire. Are you selling any of your Chinese holdings? No, never sold any Chinese shares. Own them all. You know, I hope that my daughters own them someday. I think China's got a fabulous future. Selling China in 2008, it would be like selling America in 1908, just as we were on the verge of becoming a fantastic, great success story. So, Jim, I'm guessing, and tell me if I'm wrong, though, as the pullback in Chinese shares, do you see that as a buying opportunity? Yeah, I will. If they have a selling climax, yes. And probably the best opportunity will be Taiwan, because for the first time in my life, there's going to be peace in Taiwan. And so that whole economy, that whole nation is now going to have a dramatic change. And it'll be great for the whole country, be great for the world, but certainly for Taiwan.
Jim, it's Ellen again. I'm curious in terms of commodities, just switching back there. So much government intervention when it comes to the financials. Do you think we could see any kind of government intervention when it comes to commodities or trying to talk down some of these prices?
Of course we can. I mean, do you remember 1929? They passed the Smoot-Hawley Act, which led to the Great Depression, even though 1,000 economists went on record as saying you're making a terrible mistake. Politicians did it anyway. You remember the weapons of mass destruction? We invaded Iraq. because of weapons of mass destruction. Of course, politicians can do all kind of simple, stupid things. The IPO market has been driven out of America now because American politicians passed some absurd laws. They will probably do something. It will drive the commodities trade outside the U.S. You know, the United States has dominated the commodities business for over 100 years. The Congress of the United States is about to give the world on a silver platter and say, here, take what you want. We're going to give you the commodities trading business, and it's going to leave America. And at the same time, the politicians are saying pension funds can't invest in commodities. University endowments cannot invest in commodities. At a time when there's terrible inflation, they're going to say to the pension plans, you cannot protect yourselves from inflation. Too bad.
Hey,
you
Jim,
cannot do that.
Jim, just 30
insane, but they'll do it.
30 seconds left here. I know you mentioned you're kind of eyeing at base metals. Anything else you think investors should be looking at? Just kind of keep it on their radar, just quickly, if you could.
Agriculture. You should be buying agriculture. I'm buying agriculture.
All right. We're going to leave it on that note. Jim, as always, good to get some time with you. Have a great day. Jim Rogers of Rogers.